Hey guys, it's AnnieChie's. Today I'm going to be doing a video of my cosplay and costuming year in review. Now, when I say cosplay and costuming, it's because I did study in the field of costuming, so a lot happened to me this year, related to said field. So some of them are kind of co-related with the cosplaying, etc. So I'm not going to be doing like a whole thing about what happened in my personal life unless it really reflects back to the costuming or cosplay. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I am going to go month by month on what happened, what I did, things that good, bad, highlights, what conventions I went to in that month, if any, and what the best part of said conventions were. So that's what I'm going to do for this little year in review. To start off the year, the month of January. So at this point, I started my second semester of costuming at Fanshawe College over in London, Ontario. I was in all sorts of different programs, working on a lot of projects. Before I started the new semester though, I actually completely finished my Sheena cosplay from Yona of the Dawn. I finished all the accessories during my Christmas and New Year's break, and I also finished most of the sewing on Tomoyo, which is what I did later on in the year. February to March, not much happened, so I'm just going to lump the two together. It's all school. I was working on all sorts of different costuming related projects, honestly. So after March and February, it started to get a little bit busier. April, I finished the program, or at least the class section of the program, and then I was into my placement. So I was placed by I requested to go to Upper Canada Village in Morrisburg, Ontario, which is very close to my hometown, and I was luckily placed there. And honestly, I am very thankful I was, because it was an absolutely incredible experience. And this month I also decided to fix up everything on my old young Zelda cosplay, because I was not happy with how it looked before. So I added on some bangs, I fixed the sleeves, and I made a new belt for her. So then I was able to rewear her and feel a lot better about it at cons this year, which I wore her quite a bit because she's really comfy. May came the first con of the year, which was Ottawa Comic Con for me. The highlight really of this one was seeing all my friends again, because I've been gone away to London, so I don't get to see them very often. And during the masquerade, there was just so much positive friend energy going on. We were all encouraging each other, absolutely yelling for each other, and then two of my friends ended up winning the two different Best in Show titles for presentation and for workmanship. So congratulations to Levi and Al on that. That was amazing. I was screaming my lungs off for both of you. Oh my god. After May comes June, and June was a little busier. So in June is actually the month I finished my placement. Keep in mind, I was doing that full time this whole time as well. First up was YetiCon. The absolute highlight of that was probably the fact that not only was I with my friends the whole weekend, YetiCon is one of my favorite cons of the year, every single year. It is just such a beautiful place, and there's just so many good parts about the programming. But one of the highlights was definitely our Super Splash Bros cosplay pool party. That was amazing. And also in June was Maritime, which was actually my first time being a full cosplay guest at an event, which was extremely exciting, and my first event outside of Ontario and Quebec. So also pretty exciting. I got to judge the masquerade. I met so many amazing people. I wish I could list all of you, but then the video would be so much longer. So after June comes July. So now we're officially into the summer. So this month I was rehired at my placement. Instead of being in the costuming department, because there was no position there available for me, they had a position out as a costume interpreter, so I was actually in costume every day at work. But I got to explain different things about the time period to people, and I honestly really enjoyed myself. Again, the community at Upper Canada Village is amazing. Like, everyone there is wonderful. July is also when I actually completely finished my Tomoyo cosplay. And it's also the month where our team Tsubasa, finally got together and rehearsed our skin, planned it out and everything. So in August came Attack-a-thon, usually one of the bigger cons of the year for me, and this year was no exception. I've been working on Tomoyo on and off all throughout the year at this point. She was all ready to go. We had rehearsed in July, And Attack-a-thon was honestly a lot of fun. It was my first time competing with this many people on the stage. And at first, that made us a little nervous. We had so many conflicting personalities. How are we gonna do this? We ended up doing, I'm really proud of what we did. Our performance was really, I feel like it was really good. It was probably one of my favorite ones I've ever been a part of, ever gotten to do, ever gotten to put some of my ideas into. And we ended up coming home with 2 awards, one for Best Detailing in the Masters Division, and one for the Best in Class Presentation. Attack-a-thon, we also did our Super Smash Bros. Pajama Party. So we had so much fun with the Super Splash Bros. that we decided to do a pajama party version of it at Attack-a-thon, and that was also just a lot of fun. So the next month is September, and the first thing on this list might seem a little out of place considering I was saying before I want to talk mostly about things related to costuming and cosplay, but the first thing I'm talking about is that I went to Bandit Spur's wedding. You might be like, that's a little out of place here, but it's a special one to me because it was the first time I've been to a wedding of a friend I've met through cosplay. Don't tell Bandit Spurs. And in September, actually the day after the wedding, I moved to Ottawa. So right at the end of the month I moved in, there was a Ottawa meetup at one of the parks, so I went to that, debuted Gina to get some really cool pictures, and had a really good time there, so good timing to move to Ottawa, I suppose. In October, I started on 2 new cosplays, one for me, one for my boyfriend, so kind of like a pair cosplay. So that is Joseph Joestar and Susie Q from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I made a lot of progress on both of them, mostly Susie in October. November was more so for the month where I worked on Joseph on and off. And also in October, on the cosplay front, I also got to do my only location shoot of the year, so the non-convention shoot of the year. And that was with Gabba the Geek, and we did it really close to where I live in my apartment, and right in the, when everything was beautifully colored in the fall leaves and everything. So next up was November. November was actually a little crazy busy, honestly. Something was happening every other weekend, whether it was cosplay related, D&D related, all sorts of things. It was wild. It was wonderful and wild. So the first thing of note was right at the beginning of the month, I started training with a tailor here in Ottawa. He does historical garments, so that is where I'm getting work right now still. Also in November came, right the first weekend, was the Heroes and Villains Halloween party, and oh my gosh, I am so glad I went. I got to see a whole bunch of friends, we got to have a good time, I got to wear Zelda again, it was super comfy. And after that came the Ottawa Comic Con Holiday Edition. I did not cosplay for this one, but it was just another weekend of just hanging out with my cosplay friends, getting to hang out more casually because a lot of them were not in costume, and we also got to have a send-off dinner for a friend who had just moved to Toronto. Again, it was just another very positive time. But Solette Cosplay and I have been wanting to kind of revamp the Cornwall Cosplayers group. It hasn't been extremely active over the past few months, but then it suddenly had a little resurgence. We've had new members, a lot more discussions have been taking place. So her and I decided that we really wanted to put on a lot more events for the community. And even though I'm living in Ottawa now, I'm more involved in the Cornwall cosplay community than ever, which is bizarre how that works. And we ran our first event. It was a cosplay bowling event. What I ended up doing was I actually debuted a new costume. It was my first time purchasing a costume, and that was the gym uniform version of Uraraka Ochako from My Hero Academia, and that seemed to be the theme of the bowling event. So far I've had a very quiet December, which is probably a good thing because getting ready for Christmas and everything. Just finished a commission, and that's basically all I've been doing on the cosplay front recently. You can see my video about how I did the commission over on my channel. That's basically what I've been working on. Nothing new, no cons, no events so far, so it's going to be quiet up until the new year at this point. But what I would like to talk about is some of the stats for the year kind of idea. So this year I went to 5 total conventions, and when you add on the non-convention cosplay events, I went to 8. One of which I hosted or co-hosted with Solette Cosplay. This year I had my first guest appearance, and I ran 5 different panels, whether solo or with other people at the few conventions I went to this year. I visited 3 provinces in order to travel to all these events, which is more than the usual 2 that I go to. And I debuted 3 costumes this year as well, one of which is my first ever purchased costume, which was just very bizarre for me, really, but I really quite enjoyed it. And finally, I won 2 awards, both of which were for the Team Tsubasa group, and again, very positive experience there. So that is my costuming and cosplay year in review of 2019 in a nutshell. I hope this was slightly interesting to you guys, and tell me about some of the things that you did this year that stand out to you, whether it's your month by month or anything like that. I would love to know what some of you guys have been up to in the cosplay community. So thank you guys so much for watching, and subscribe, like, all the good stuff to see more content. I also have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my Weebly site. You can check out all those things for more information about any of my costuming, any of my sewing work, crafting work, etc. Thanks, guys!